This presentation outlines a technology use plan for a general high school. The plan goes into effect in the fall of 2010 and expires by the spring of 2015. My name is Marcy Smith, and I will be presenting today. Why should we develop a new technology use plan? It is important that we make a new technology use plan because our school has sufficient technological equipment available, and it would be a waste if we don't plan on using it properly. First, we need to plan to train our teachers. We need to plan to integrate more technology in the classroom. We need to plan to involve students more with technology. And finally, we need to prepare ourselves as we advance into the digital age. Who should be a part of the planning process? This list includes, but is not limited to, the school's technology coordinator, the technology representatives, which we will discuss later, the library and media department, certain faculty members, the school's administration, members of the school board, members of the Parent-Teacher Association, students, and agencies from the community. Our current technology use plan expires in June of 2010, which is when the new plan should be ready. We will use the upcoming school year to prepare the new technology use plan, and the new plan will be effective from August of 2010 until June of 2015. Before we begin detailing the plan, it is important to have a general timeline scheduling how we plan to develop the new technology use plan. In September of 2009, we will form the planning team and schedule monthly meetings. For the first meeting, the team will analyze the current technology use plan, and we will decide what parts worked and what parts didn't. By October, we will discuss the goals of the next technology use plan and decide what we want to accomplish with the next 5 years. This will lead to decisions about what we need to determine about the faculty before making a new technology use plan. In November, we will develop a needs assessment survey for faculty and have parents, administration, and members of our planning team review and revise this survey. In December, we will administer this assessment, and we will gather the data and results and begin the planning process. In January, our team will decide specific goals for our new technology use plan, and we will decide also how to accomplish each of these objectives. We will outline the plan together by this month. In February, we will use our outline that we have already developed to write a rough draft of the plan. In March, we will take our rough draft and we will have it reviewed and revised, use all the stakeholders, and get any of their input. In April, we will be using these revisions and comments from others to write another draft, and then we will have this new draft reviewed again. Revision in the planning process is a constant stage, and really after the planning process it continues to be always revisions. So it's important that we have it reviewed and revised and everything we like. In May or June, we need to have the final draft written and published. We will need also to make a faculty meeting so that we can brief the faculty and staff for the upcoming changes. By this month, we will also have the technology representatives from each department selected and chosen, and they will begin their duties. We will discuss that later. For August of 2010, that's the beginning of when the technology use plan will be implemented. We will introduce all the technology that the school has to offer in those beginning of the year meetings. They will already have department meetings scheduled every month, and especially at the beginning of the year. But this is when the technology representative from your department should introduce the technology use plan. And also at the beginning of this year, we want the professional growth plans to be written and submitted from every teacher. And again, we'll get into that later. For the 2010-2011 school year, throughout this first year, many changes will be implemented, and our plan should be constantly revised to satisfy the needs of the school. In addition to these revisions, we will have the quarterly meetings with your department and the technology representatives, and we will also have quarterly observations done by the principal. What are the steps when developing this technology use plan? Well, first we should assess the prior technology use plan. Ask ourselves, did we accomplish the goals? Why or why not? Second, we need to design an assessment needs survey. We should find out what the strengths and weaknesses of our faculty and students are. We should also find out what are the interests of our faculty in learning new technologies. Third, we will use the data from the survey to develop goals for what we want the new technology use plan to cover. Fourth, we will write the plan within the planning committee. Fifth, we will review and revise the plan. This stage really never ends, but we want to ask ourselves, does the plan satisfy the current needs of all the stakeholders? 6, we should publish and publicize the plan. The plan can't work if no one knows about it. It is just as important to publicize the plan as it is to write it. 7th, professional development. We need to teach our teachers how to use technology and what their role is in this plan. 8th, we need to evaluate the plan. We should observe our teachers in action. We should decide if it is improving our student learning. And finally, we need to modify the plan's goals and the timeline. Is the plan working? If not, let's make some changes. If it is, then that's great. This is our vision statement. I'm just going to rate it. Academic excellence, faculty competence, and superior facilities are 3 of this school's highest priorities. High academic achievement can only be obtained by having the finest facilities and staff. In the past 5 years, our school has attained new buildings, state-of-the-art laboratories, and advanced technological equipment. We hope to make the best use of these facilities by assuring that every faculty member is not only knowledgeable of his or her subject matter, but is professionally trained to implement this technology. Our school holds high standards for every individual involved in the education process, especially the teachers. Teachers will be required to attend professional development meetings once a month and implement technology into a lesson every unit. Our vision for this plan is to ensure the effective use of all technology currently available. This is a rough copy of the vision statement. The final copy of the vision statement will be developed by the entire team instead of just myself. But this does give us a place to start when we are beginning our planning process. These are some of our goals of the new technology use plan. Again, the actual technology use plan published will have more details for their goals, and they will also be decided upon by the entire planning committee, but these are just some of them. We would like teachers to have immediate access to computers and internet. Teachers should have immediate access to technological support. Students should have immediate access to computers and internet. Teachers should be trained to use the available software and hardware. Every department should be trained to use technology to satisfy subject area needs. Every teacher must incorporate technology into a minimum of 1 lesson per unit. Students should achieve higher test scores resulting indirectly from integration of technology in the classroom. Teachers should demonstrate at least 2 new technology skills a year outlined in their professional growth plans. Technology representatives and principals should see an increase in technology implementation. And finally, current hardware and software should be used on a weekly basis before new equipment is provided. The Assessment Needs Survey is included to determine many factors. These include the teacher's prior knowledge, the teacher's current technology skills, the teacher's use of technology in the class and the student's use of technology in the class, and the interest of teachers to learn technology. It's hard to teach someone something if they don't have the desire to learn it. So we want to figure out our teachers' interests so that we can figure out how best to teach them. I included the link to our survey, which will be conducted at least 6 months prior to the due date. Staff development is probably the most vital component of this plan. If we don't teach our teachers how to use technology, our technology use plan will never succeed. First, every year technological equipment should be introduced to the new teachers. New teachers entering the school system, they should know what's available and what's not available. And as far as returning teachers, they should be given an update on anything that we've acquired over the summer or over the years. We do this, however, these introductions, they'll be brief, they'll be short, they won't be very long-winded because we want to encourage our teachers to experiment on their own time. That's the best way to learn something is to do it yourself. So we're going to give some formal training, but a lot of it will be done on their own. Every month, we already have department meetings. Every department will now have a technology representative. This person is available for immediate troubleshooting and peer mentoring. Every quarter, the technology representative should address technology needs and the applications of different technologies within their department. Hopefully, this will help address individual needs of every teacher and help each subject area see how technology can be useful to them. We will be using collaborative work between teachers and between the technology representative and the teachers within each department, and hopefully this we'll see good results from this. Third, we'll have 4 meetings with a year, because it's quarterly, with our technology representative, and at least one of those meetings, the technology coordinator of the school should be present. This is to encourage, for one, the technology coordinator to be within the loop, to know what's going on and to evaluate how each department is doing. And it's also to address the needs of the teachers if they have specific questions or maybe desires for new equipment. We will have school-wide professional development meetings on an as-needed basis. This will be determined by our technology representatives, our technology coordinator, and the principals. And you can have a variety of reasons to have these meetings. And we will also have our individual teachers write a professional growth plan annually. At the beginning of every year, our teachers should list the areas of growth, also how they plan to achieve their goals. This is not just for technology, but really themselves as teachers. They should list at least 2 technological goals, and they must demonstrate these goals by the end of the year. We want to encourage and assure that the implementation of our technology use plan is working by implementing these rewards or incentives programs. Our technology representatives are going to have a lot of responsibilities. Therefore, just as a department chair would have an extra pay, our technology representatives will receive a stipend for their work. Teachers who are able to demonstrate their technological goals from their growth plans will be exempt from a teacher workday at the end of the year. We all know how exciting that can be. And also teachers who show that they're really integrating technology into their classroom and they really have the need for further technology, they're going to be the first ones granted more equipment in their classroom and more advantages for their student learning. There are several tiers in place for the evaluation of this plan. First off, we have our technology representatives, and they are responsible for immediate troubleshooting and peer mentoring, and they're going to be the ones to be able to evaluate how their department and how their colleagues are doing firsthand. Two, we will have individual teachers that are responsible to evaluate themselves by how have they achieved their goals from their professional growth plan, and also other personal goals that they may have. Third, our principals will be responsible for teacher observations quarterly. By knowing the goals of the technology use plan and the individual goals stated on professional growth plans, they will be able to properly evaluate the teachers. A little bit further, teachers, whenever they do have troubleshooting needs, there will be frequently asked questions and help pages available on the network server. So that will be available for their use. And also, whenever we do have a professional development meeting, we will have the teachers evaluate how did this technology training and how has your technology training in the past addressed your interests, your strengths, and your weaknesses, and how could we do that better. Research should be done to establish the school's philosophy of educational technology. Assuming research has already been done for the previous plan, we may not have too much research, more research to do, but we could do additional research, and it could be found to determine maybe the best ways to implement technologies, to decide the influence of technology on student learning, or to decide the impact of how technology could really have in the future. We also would probably need to use the NCTP or our specific state's guidebook when we are writing out the plan. Well, that about does it. Thank you so much for your time and your attention, and I really hope that you enjoyed and you liked this technology use plan outline. Thank you.